In this video, we're going to take a closer look at Venn diagrams with three sets. So first, let's just get a general idea of what three sets would look like. It's important that when you have three sets that you draw it big enough that you can see the overlap, and really you should see 8 regions. So I see where A, B, and C overlapped, additional part for A and B, additional for A and C, B and C, and then outside. So make sure you're always drawing big enough to give yourself room to write. So I'm just going to go through an example where I just picked some numbers. I know the numbers may not make sense because I threw a 24 and a 33. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to give us some variation. And let's just start talking about just really basic sets like just A, just B, just C. So if I'm looking at just A, I kind of think about looking at the whole circle. So when I look at this entire circle, I can see I have a 1, 3, 4, 5, and 33. So that makes up my set A. Again, I generally write them in ascending order if I can. It just helps me sort it better. So same thing if I'm looking at B. B has a 3, a 5, a 14, and a 21. So those are my elements of set B. So lastly, let's look at set C. C has 3, it has 4, it has 13, and it has 14. So really, just keep in mind, include that whole entire circle for each of the sets so you don't miss anything. So let's combine that with some set operations, and I just picked some of each, an intersection, a difference of set, and a union. So let's start with A intersect B. So A intersect B is right here. It's with both A and B where they overlap. Notice I'm not talking about C, so I ignore it. I just look at what does A and B have in common, and they have in common 3 and 5. So there's my set. If I do C minus A, I want to look at the set C and think A disappears, so these two elements, 3 and 4, they're going to go away, which leaves me with 13 and 14. If I look at B union C, unions typically get bigger, so I have to think it's all of B, additionally add in all of C. So I have a 3, a 4, a 5. I have 13, 14, and 21. So big set anytime I'm looking at union. So let's practice some more, just make it bigger, maybe do all 3 sets at a time. So I said, let's find A intersect B intersect C. So you can look at this picture and see that this overlap, and here it looks like I forgot to write the letter C there. So let's write it in, sorry about that. So this A, B, and C is just the number 3. So it's the only thing that's in common to all 3 sets. On the second one, I said, why don't we look at A union C and then take B out? So I'm starting with the idea that I take A and I put C together, but then I'm going to get rid of these 5, 3, and 14. I don't want to include those. I've decided to subtract them out. So what's left is 1, 4, 13, and 33. So things that are in A and C, but nothing from B. And then the last one on this page, I have B union C complement. So I'm looking at B union C, which is all of B, all of C. We've talked about them before. But then I said, let's do the complement. So let's look outside of it. So outside of it, I have a 1, I have a 7, I have 24, and I have 33. All right, so how about you try? Here's 3 things for you to look at. A complement, B intersect C, and then A minus C union B. So give yourself a second, try it out, and then come back and check how you did. All right, so let's give it a check. So first, let's start with A complement. So I'm looking outside of A. So I see I have a 7, 13, 14, 21, and 24. B intersect C. I think I must have done B union C there, so let's say that's wrong altogether. Let's cross that out. I bet I copy-pasted and then didn't fix it. So if I'm looking at B intersect C, I go, what do B and C have in common? And the only thing B and C have in common are the numbers 3 and the number 14. So let's see if I can fix that in there. So I get for being lazy, I probably just copied it over and then didn't make the correction. So 3 and 14 is what they have in common. And then A minus C union B. So A minus C, here's A, and I take C away. So I have this 1 and 33. But now I'm going to add b to it. So when I add b to it, I'm going to pick up the 5, the 3, the 14, and the 21. So see how this 3 was and the 14 are part of C? It doesn't matter that I've subtracted the C. I've added B back in. So I start with, here's my A. I took C out, 133, then pick back up the 3, 5, 14, and 21. So, and then I just wrote them in order. All right. This last example I have for this video, I thought, let's go back and do the opposite. Instead of me giving you the set with all the things in it, how about I write out what the sets are and then you place those elements in the set. So as we go to do this, we want to start in the intersection. And I want to start in the smallest intersection, which you can see right here is A with B with C. So when I'm looking through my sets A, B, and C, I can see they all have a 2. And in this particular example, that's the only thing they have in common. Then as I build it up, it wouldn't matter which order you go in, but I want to stick with intersections, and I decided to look at A with B. So the 2 is already taken care of. The other thing I saw they had in common was a 4. So here's my 4. I want to keep going with that, so I looked at A and C. Again, the 2 is already taken care of, but I also see they have a 5 in common, so that goes in that part of A with C. So my last double intersection would be B and C, and see how they both have a 1? But that would be it. The 2 is already taken care of, so there's my 1. Okay. Once that's finished, once I've done all the intersections, then I can go back and just finish the entire sets. So if I go to finish the set A, I already have the 2, 4, 5, because I can see 2, 4, 5, so I just needed to add the 6. So same thing, I'm looking over here at B. B has 1, 2, I need to add the 3. There's 4, and I need to add 7. And then my last set, C, I have the 1, 2, 5, I need to add the 8. Okay. We're not quite done yet, because you never want to forget the universal set. So the universal set was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And was I missing anything? Oh, suddenly I decided there's a 9. So I wonder why I did that. Let's just add a 9, so now that it makes it that there's something else in the set. I guess I meant to put that in there, and I didn't, and that happens sometimes. All right, so that's the end of this video. I hope that helps you clear up what happens with 3 sets. It makes it easier to picture for you.